Hi, and welcome to another edition of Caldwell Chats, a series where we like to highlight new and exciting innovations, awesome innovators, and of course, hot topics in intellectual property law. My name is Eyob Yohannes, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Creative Services here at Caldwell IP Law. And let's just get right into this. So today we have a couple of special guests to talk about the future of NFTs and the implications for intellectual property. NFTs are blowing up, and many companies and sectors are investing in NFTs. So this is a very hot topic at the moment. And today we have Tonya Iliakostas, also known as the IP professor on Instagram and TikTok. Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Hey, thank you very much.
Awesome. And Tony is also a professor at New York Law. And we also have our very own attorney, Ed Mantilla from Caldwell IP, both who will be shedding a little bit of light around NFTs and IP implications. Hey, Ed, how's it going?
Great, Eyob. It's good to be here with yourself and Tony.
I'm excited to talk NFTs. All right. So today, NFTs are a subject. And first off, what are NFTs? Who wants to answer that question?
It's like asking what is life, right? It's such a broad question. But so NFTs are the acronym for non-fungible tokens. And the easiest way that I've been able to explain it to people are that it could basically constitute almost like a digital good that is part of the cryptocurrency blockchain. So when you purchase an NFT, what you're buying is certain potentially some type of collectible, like maybe artwork or a digital good like a sporting card that's digital nature. It could vary from any type really, but what's very important about NFTs are that you're buying especially a unique serial number within the blockchain. So if you're buying, let's say, an NFT that's part of the Ethereum blockchain, you're buying an identifier within that blockchain so that if, let's say, somebody else rolls around and takes a screenshot of the NFT, yeah, they have the screenshot, but they don't have their stake or their place within the blockchain. That's what separates screenshotting something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club, collectible, which looks awesome, versus actually having a Bored Ape Yacht Club in your possession that's part of the cryptocurrency blockchain.
Hmm. And Ed, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's just basically one of the things that people get confused. And I just came back from the West Coast giving a talk, and believe me, this topic kind of gave rise to a lot of conversation. And it was like everybody's like, "Well, we know how to spell it, but we don't know what it really is," which is like what I was expecting, right? Because somebody said this is like kind of like keeps coming, right? NFTs. I mean, the news, like you hear NFTs and NFT this and NFT that, and clearly on social media you hear all this all the time. But yeah, I mean, I think and I think we're going to get into the topic of like what can become an NFT, right? Up in a few minutes, so I'll leave that for that. But it's a very hot commodity right now, so
Yeah, very
very
much
hot,
so. We see
and
a lot of companies.
there's a lot of confusion as to what it do for you. So
Right. And well, first off, then, yeah, let's get into what can actually be converted or made into an NFT. I'm not sure the exact wording.
no, that's appropriate. Like, what can you actually, I guess the word NFT, right? Since we're in that making everything a verb, so there's like a definition, right? And what I did for the room that I was giving a talk, I just broke it down, right? It has to be unique. So what I use the example of money, for example. If everybody here has like said, hey, do you have change for a 20, 2 tens for a 20, right? Well, the whole thing is that you're still getting the value doesn't change 20, right? So 2 tens equals 20 and a 20 equals 20. So that is fungible, right? That's not unique. So I use the example of my favorite, baseball cards. If I have a rookie card from like Mickey Mantle and a rookie card like for Roberto Clemente, they're unique, right? There's no way you have any confusion as to who's who, and the value of it is actually pretty high. So those are non-fungible tokens, right? Those are unique. And I always use the example of a car. If you let me borrow your car, if I let you borrow my car, right? I expect that car back. That car has a unique number, so it's unique. It's also non-fungible. So those are the kinds of things that you look for. Are they unique? So that to me is it's the key.
And to add to something Ed said that's really important, that uniqueness factor. What's very common in the world of NFTs are that you're going to be buying, if you're going to enter the NFT purchasing game, you're going to likely be buying one of ones. They're the only ones of that type. So here's a perfect example. There was a viral video that was one of the hallmark videos on YouTube of Charlie Bit My Finger, where the little boy bites his brother.
Yeah.
His brother bites his finger, and Charlie bit me. That's the best British accent you're ever going to get. And that video has permeated the web for decades. I think 2 decades, if I'm not mistaken, at least since YouTube had launched. And I think last year it sold for, I think, close to $500,000, if I'm not mistaken, or a quarter million, somewhere around that range. But part of the sale of that NFT was the parents of Charlie that took that video were going to transfer copyright ownership over to the new owner. So the NFT purchaser will claim ownership of that, physical ownership and copyright ownership of that video. But they would remove that video from the internet to add to that uniqueness factor, that one of one value that comes with that specific asset. So whether you're talking about NBA Top Shot, if you're getting to NBA trading collectibles online, or Bored Ape Yacht Club, or crypto tunes, or crypto punks, or any of these other valued NFT collections, you're getting a really valuable, unique asset that is one of a kind that isn't out. There isn't another one out there in the marketplace.
It's like what was the one that people remember the Jack Dorsey's first tweet? Was that the
Yes,
yeah
yeah, that's
yeah
another good one. Yeah,
yeah
Hmm. Well, so thank you, Tony, for bringing up that example of the Charlie bit me.
probably been.
Um, because first off, I love that video.
me
And
too.
also, I think it brings up the question of like, what are some trends that we're seeing in the proliferation of NFTs, and like, what types of companies are entering this space?
Yeah, there are more than you could possibly imagine. I actually just did a video on this. The number of trademark applications alone related to NFTs is on the rise. And here's a perfect example. January's number of applications, trademark applications, was. All right, let me start with December. December was 407. January of this year was 450. But last month, February 2022, the number of trademark applications that went through related to NFTs jumped all the way to 593. That is a staggering number, because that's almost a third of the value of applications that went through just in January. So there are tons of brands that are getting in this space. CVS has even filed trademarks related to NFTs and the larger metaverse. We have fashion brands that are trying to get their place in the line with respect to NFTs. Of course, sporting leagues are going to monetize off of opportunity like this. We even have conversations coming up where musicians could potentially use the NFT marketplace as a venue to potentially have unique albums only available if you purchase an NFT. Almost, I mean, I don't know if this is probably a hard comparison, but almost think of that coveted Wu Tang Clan album that only Martin Shkreli, that jerk, had at one point, but nonetheless was only very very few people ever had access to that album. That same type of conversation for a physical asset could translate over into in the world of NFTs. So it's ripe for opportunity.
Wow. So every different types of sector.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I guess like then really the question is like this idea of ownership. So who owns like the original artwork, or the original thing that was based off of, like, that the NFT is based off of? How does that work in this
It's a
scenario?
great question because I mean, I see a lot of confusion as to, do I own the actual work of art? And the answer is, well, it depends, right? The whole legal answer, I mean, perfect answer, because it's however the deal is structured, right? I mean, and typically, and we can talk about some of the mechanics, but there's some sort of smart contract behind it, right? Like, what are you allowed to do? And even, taking NFTs away, if I go out and create a work of art, right, put a painting on a tangible medium and I get a copyright, I own the copyright. But that doesn't mean that if you have the NFT that you own the copyright. Similarly, if you like buy the work of art, you have the physical work of art, but you don't own the rights to the copyright, right?
Mm,
So the law kind of actually mimics that in terms of NFTs. You can have the NFT, but you don't have the actual copyright. And and it can be, it's like the person that minted the NFT goes, yeah, you know what, you can have it, and that's perfectly okay. But for the most part, I would want to retain those rights, right? Because then I can do
mm,
whatever I want with it, and keep, you know, making my own work. And then, I mean, using the uh, the rights given, I could just do whatever I want with it.
mm.
So it's tricky.
Yeah. And Tony, I know that you had actually like had a post that I watched at some point where it was a bit confusing to you as well. If you care to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I was unfortunately the victim, I think, of an NFT scam. And
Mhm.
basically, to make a long story short, I wanted to figure out a convenient way as a consumer to purchase NFTs. And I'm not sitting on thousands or millions of dollars that I'm able to whip out the page, the checkbook and buy, coveted collections like Bored Ape Yacht Club or Crypto Tunes or Crypto Punks or any of these other great collections. But I wanted to at least figure out like how can I kind of get a feel of the landscape of the NFT landscape. So there was an app on the App Store called NFT Go where basically users could mint NFTs, but they could also easily purchase NFTs on the marketplace just with the click of a button connected to their Apple Pay account and whatnot. So I purchased two NFTs that I thought were related to the larger collection of CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club. And the reason why I thought so was because, at least based on how the collections were titled and also how they were advertised as notification banners, they were advertised as Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks 3D. They were both 3D NFTs of those collections. Come to find out, they were derivative collections, not affiliated whatsoever with the original collection. And
Mm,
basically, I dug a little deeper, and what I basically did was waste money because I know that those NFTs are not going to return any value whatsoever. Nobody's buying them, and if people are buying them, they're buying them for cents on the dollar, nothing really special to them. Like $10, which I was significantly less than what I had originally paid for. I paid $100 per NFT, so it's like I lost money, and I know that they're not going to accrue any value. So essentially what I learned from that scenario is you have to do a lot of homework whenever you purchase an NFT. Do your research, see if it's a legitimate account, see if they have any official social media accounts if they're advertised as such. Be aware of derivative collections because odds are derivative collections are infringing on the copyright and trademark of the
Yeah.
original collection. I mean,
mm,
just to give you an idea, Bored Ape Yacht Club 3D, one of the NFT collections that I purchased from, literally took the original Bored Ape Yacht Club logo and just added 3D at the end. How can, under a reasonable assessment of trademark and trademark law and the factors of infringement with respect to consumer confusion, that's almost like a law school hypothetical for proof of consumer confusion. Anybody could be confused by that just small tweak to that logo. And I even had a few direct messages back and forth with the app developer, and they alleged that I was acting defamatory. But we all know that only defense to any act of defamation is the truth, and that is the
Mhm.
truth. Their practices are in every way, shape, and form deceptive. And listen, this is a cautionary tale. I teach intellectual property. I work in intellectual property. I teach entertainment law. If I could get duped and hoodwinked in that manner, anybody can. So it's just a cautionary tale. You got to be so careful because there are collections out there that will infringe on trademark and copyright and not bat an eyelash whatsoever.
I was
mm.
going to add, just like anything hot, there's always a lot of room for scams. So careful. I agree, Tony. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Well, and the question then is, what are there infringement suits being filed? Like, and have we seen those happen? Recently or in the past?
Well, I guess before we jumped on, we were talking about the Hermes suit. There are,
Yeah.
they're suing Mason Rothschild for the made up Birkin bag. I mean, Birkin bags. I didn't know about this. Clearly, I don't shop at Hermes, but they're like, you know, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars for a bag, and he actually created an NFT of the bags, and he making money on them, and Hermes went after him, and he's fighting it. He's actually kind of like standing his ground, which some little guy would have probably just say, okay, well, we don't pull him out and I'm done, but not him. He's sticking to his guns. So there are other examples as well.
But I
And
will say,
so yeah.
I just want to add one thing. I will say that we may not see a lot right now, but more are going to come.
Yeah.
And may I also add, this is also going to put a lot of pressure on NFT websites like OpenSea to really, really, really ramp up on their compliance and regulatory practices divisions to do some policing, make sure that there
Yeah.
are collections out there that are not infringing on other collections of whether it's with respect to copyright, trademarks, or even trade dress. That's another issue that does seep into the world of NFTs. So this is almost, this is as much as basically this is going to be something that's going to be a shared issue with a lot of entities. It's not going to be a two-party scenario, but it's also going to OpenSea's going to have to share some responsibility and do their part to ensure that they're enforcing and cracking down on infringers.
Yeah, yeah, and I think as many people get involved with the NFTs and trying to maybe skirt the legal rights of other brand names, for example, I think this field will open up in terms of lawsuits and things. You'll see a lot more, and public as well. People will hear about it. So I think we're just starting, just beginning the ramp in terms of like potential infringement issues.
Well, right. And so I think like in order not to infringe, like one would probably need licenses. So like how does the rise of NFTs impact like current and future licensing agreements?
I mean, it's going to create it's going to create a demand for individual collections to build out portfolios of how they're going to license out their marks or their collections. Um, We've kind of seen this begin with Adidas and Bored Ape Yacht Club, where they've
Yeah.
licensed out the trademark. Adidas has licensed out the trademark rights to Bored Ape, so that way they can, essentially work on cross collaborations. And certainly with collections like Crypto Kicks and Nike, they might see a world where they're going to collaborate with other fashion creators to incorporate designs into those crypto versions of sneaker NFTs. So, I mean, essentially, it's really going to boil down to collectors, the creators of these collections, building out their IP portfolio, identifying all the trademark assets, identifying all the copyright assets. I mean, I'm sure Ed can speak to this as an attorney for Caldwell, but I'm sure that if you asked any reasonable IP attorney and they're working with a creator, whether they're big or small, step number one is to identify the portfolio. What
Yeah.
makes the money? If the money is driven by the trademarks, what are the list of trademarks? If the money that drives the business is related to copyright, what are the copyright assets associated with that? Once you know your library and the money that's associated with that, then that's when you know how to monetize off of it. And building a good licensing program based on that is what's going to lead to success down the road.
Yeah, and I always encourage anyone like in terms of copyrights and trademarks, register them right. No, in terms of copyrights, register and trademarks. You filed your applications. Make sure you got those all covered up, because otherwise, you have no rights basically. At least in trademarks, maybe copyrights you do, but good luck enforcing it. You can't. You have to have a
Yeah,
register, right? So,
right.
um,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I just since we're running out of time, but like I guess for either of you guys or both, like, are there any recommendations for like brands that may actually be looking into the NFT space right now? Like any do's or don'ts?
I mean, the main do is to get a feel of the landscape, know who your competitors are, and try not to ride off their coattails. Try to create something unique that is going to be, akin to you. So, Bored Ape Yacht Club has dominated the ape space. There are so many derivative collections that are related to apes. Don't make any monkey ape related NFTs. Be original, right? I know that under copyright law, the courts have really laid out a threshold for originality so low.
So low.
It is ridiculous how low. Like literally taking my cup and drawing a red line down it is original in the eyes of the court. But that said, try to invoke some type of originality that's beyond that low bar, doing something that's a bit unique and creative. Seeing a lot of NFTs offered have some type of utilitarian purpose. If you're a creator, do you want to have some type of utilitarian purpose? Like if you purchase its NFT, you have access to VIP opportunities like going to a ball game or being a part of a talk or attending a concert, what have you? Or is it just you buy an NFT, you've got clout? So I think that's mainly the main dues there. But of course, it's a given. If you're creating NFTs, make sure that you do your trademark research to make sure you're not infringing on any other trademarks. Register your trademarks. Do take an initiative to figure out how the copyright ownership angle is going to go. If you're going to transfer copyright ownership, or if it's going to be retained with you, the creator, spell that out in your terms of service. I mean, the list can kind of go on, but that would be my main go-tos.
Yeah, and I'll add to what Tony said. I think, and he's hit on some of the points I was going to talk, but I think you need to get advice, right? I don't think it's a great idea to talk to somebody that knows like the law, for example, in terms of like intellectual property law. It's important, right? Because this is huge, and I think if you go at it alone, you might misfire and it will create all kinds of problems. So talk to somebody in the field. The other thing I recommended this to the group I talked to. It said, I told them learn as much as you can, in terms of like the other side, like for example, Bitcoin, and if you might be dealing in Bitcoin as well, it's like, what's the landscape on that is also changing. We have President Biden signing, the executive order authorizing the Federal Reserve to start doing their own Bitcoin, but that's just one agency, right? I mean, there's going to be, well, the IRS is going to say, wait a minute, we need to get our hands on this, right? And also like the SEC, so all these agencies are probably going to start like kind of like pouncing at the opportunity. So keep on top of the news, keep on top of the research, and because it's a valuable commodity, and if you want to make money, I think you need to know all these things besides IP law. So,
right. Well, thank you so much, you two. I've learned quite a lot about NFTs and IP. So I thank you both. And until the next time. So thank you, I'm Eyob Yohannes, and over and out.